You may remember me roasting this makeup sponge hard. I did not like the look of this makeup sponge. I still don't. I think it still looks shit, but we're going to try it today. So for those of you who didn't see it, the Real Techniques Makeup Saver Sponge with fingerprint technology. Innovative fingerprint technology. Here's the deal. I'm not going to go over everything again. I'll link the video down below of me roasting the sponge, and actually I'll put in some clips now just so we can kind of catch up. Is it April? Is it April Fools already? Is it that time when brands release loads of obviously fake products? These are claims. Makeup Saver Sponge absorbs 90% less makeup. So they're claiming here, you know, sponges absorb a lot of product, saving every drop. Works with liquids, creams, and powders for all your beauty needs. And this is actually the claims I wanted to read, just going through these quickly. More makeup on your face, less on your sponge, lab tested, mimics the feel of your fingers for precise application. Remember this for a little bit later. Perfect for reaching all areas of your face. Built to last and maintain performance over time and easy to clean. Yeah, let's remember those. So they showed us this image over on Instagram of like a regular makeup sponge versus their new one, okay? They call it the other sponge. It's such a bad sponge. But they claim the Makeup Saver sponge, oh, that's a mouthful, is lab proven to absorb 90% less makeup. And then they say about the other sponge, it's thirsty and absorbs makeup. It's a very anti-makeup sponge campaign, right? If this was a political campaign, the Makeup Saver sponge would be one party and every other sponge would be the opposite, the defendant? Opposition, right? Which I find strange, because let me tell you something. Not only do they sell brushes, but they also sell loads of beauty sponges. It's like one of their main things. Now talk about roasting. They're making a claim that isn't 100% true to try and sell this new sponge, but ignoring that they also make other sponges and that these sponges would be counted within that claim. You know? Let's talk about this fingerprint technology, right? Now this is what I call gimmicky bullshit, right? No offense. This is what the claim is. Innovative fingerprint technology reduces product absorption and provides a natural skin-like finish. There's a huge focus on the fingerprint technology part of this sponge, which is the plastic bits that cover half a sponge. And the idea that, you know, oh look, the surface of this mimics fingerprints, mimics fingers, therefore mimics application like a finger. No to this. Let's look at this, right? Let's pretend this isn't a makeup product. Let's just pretend it's nothing to do with makeup. It is a solid surface with the imprint of a fingerprint on it, otherwise known as a stamp. It's a stamp. It is a fingerprint stamp. But then if we are going to look at this from a makeup application point of view, the benefit of using your fingers for makeup isn't your fingerprints. You're not like, oh, you must have really great fingerprints. Your makeup's blended so well. Your fingerprints work in your favor forever. The benefits of using your fingers is, well, one, the pressure. We can control and feel how much pressure we're applying. You know, we can soften it up. We can go in hard with it and tap everything in. It's the benefit of being able to feel and control the exact pressure we're using. It's the softness of the tip of your finger, the bounciness backed up by some harder pressure. It's this. The warmth of the skin melting the product slightly as you blend it across, making sure that product is blended into the skin. It's part of the skin. It's not just sitting on top. We don't use our fingers because we need a fingerprint pattern. So I've been watching a few people review this sponge. I don't have it, which I'll get onto in a minute. People tend to like it with particular types of foundations. Sometimes, if I'm honest, when I'm watching, it does go on kind of patchy and the camera's cut and then everything's fine. But what I did notice is that people were kind of getting the imprint of the square bits on their face, right? And tapping around. Again, you don't want that. Why would you want that stamp-like texture? It's like, oh, you can see the pattern of the fingerprints. So if I used a star stamp, you'll be able to see a pattern of a star on my face. It doesn't help blend it in anymore. If anything, it's gonna add a strange texture to it. And after I did that video, some people were a little bit testy, right? They're like, how can you roast it when you haven't used it? First of all, let me tell you, I can just look at this I can just look at this and tell you I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to pretend I don't like it either if I do, but also I can tell by firmness of a sponge. I know what a sponge is. Everyone knows what a sponge is. You know, I've been doing this for a while. I can look at this and tell you this is not going to work like they say it does. Fingerprint technology, first of all, means nothing because the fingerprints don't quite work like a sheet of plastic does. And it's not the fingerprints that does the blending, it's the warmth of your fingers, your body temperature. Anyway, let's open it up. So I got this in Ulta. I don't even know if we have this in the UK just yet. But while I was there, I saw it and I was like, well, I have to try it, right? So I'm guessing you don't dampen it because if you did, it would expand and then these like plasticky bits won't expand. This is actually a lot softer. It's almost cushiony. The only way can describe it is if you've been in like a bouncy house. It's kind of like that. Still, my thought is still about how could that work? Although I do prefer to use sponges damp. It actually says use dry on the box. So what I've done is I've taken one of my favorite foundations. We're using the Triclone foundation from House Labs just to give it, you know, like a good fighting chance. Let's just get straight into it. I'm gonna use the fingerprint technology side first. So it's already kind of rigid. It's really packing on the color fine, but I can do that with a brush. So I'm just closing my eyes so I can, I'm feeling and listening. I already don't like the density. If I'm using a beauty sponge, it's because I want to dampen it slightly and wring it out, which will stop absorption of a lot of product. If you wring it out enough, there shouldn't be water coming out of it to interfere with the formula of your foundation. But I like that bounce. This is very firm. And look, I'm not getting any bounce. It's just firm. And even when I push, it's still quite rigid and still quite firm. So I'm not a fan of that. The application itself actually isn't terrible. I am getting quite decent coverage. Although I wouldn't say that the fingerprint thing, whatever it is blending more than anything else. You can actually still see some of my redness coming through on the nose. And that's another thing, with a sponge that's as firm as this, I really don't feel like the foundation is becoming like part of my skin. I just feel like it's kind of just sitting there, to be honest with you. I kind of want to go in and buff it even more. And when I mean like part of my skin, I mean I want it to look like it's on my skin, not just a layer. Because now if we look at this area here, if I go in with a sponge the other side, look, it just picks up the whole product. It's just completely picked up the foundation off my face. Because this, tapping on like this with a dry surface, a dry flat surface, isn't blending in your foundation one bit, actually. And I can sit here, we'll do it in the middle forehead, I can sit here and I can blend. And if I go in with this side of a sponge, it just takes off a product. It just completely takes off a product. Can you see? So if I think I've done all my blending, if I'm sitting somewhere and I've done all my blending, and God forbid I accidentally touch my face, that product is then going to lift. Let's use this side. I'm not quite sure what even this side is for. And even as I go back round, I mean, I've used quite a lot of product now. I had like a whole pump on the back of my hand. I still use quite a lot of product. And the foundation just seems to be lifting off. Let me just try the actual sponge itself. Because Real Techniques, I like their sponges. They do good sponges. So when I saw they were bringing out this, and they were like, beauty sponges, waste like 90% of your makeup. I'm like, you've just bitched about a whole section of your company, a whole section of your products. I think there's this whole misconception, right, that by putting loads of product on your skin and doing this and tapping in, you're going to build up this really even coverage. And although on first application, like this does, it may be even, it may be a solid even layer. Even if it doesn't matter if it just looks good, it also needs to be blended in correctly, and that's not, whoops. And that's not blended in. And it's not just application, it's not just technique. Let's do a bit of concealer and see what we think from there. Where's my concealer gone? I need to film another video, so I kind of need to get this to work for me. See, so we can see from this lighter shade, right? It's kind of just moving everything around. And I do need it. I'm gonna need it to start doing some blending. And here's the deal, right? If it's not properly blended into my skin, it's not lasting long on my skin. Horrible. Horrible. There's all these lines on my face. I need to get a brush. No, wait, let me just tap. See? Lifting, because it's not doing anything. This is a horrible sponge. Let me use the other side. And I don't really see any use in using this side and then switching to this side, because isn't there a whole point for it to like not be absorbed or whatever? I need to go back over my eye makeup now. Not a fan, not a fan. There is no way, in my opinion, that anyone who knows anything about makeup application has looked at this product, looked at this sponge, and used it and been like, yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna have to go in and like, I'm gonna very gently use a finger and just give it a little wipe here. I'm gonna have to go in and just tap it a little bit with my finger because nothing seems to be sitting on my skin very well. It looks fine, but it's not blended into my skin. It's coming off very easily. You need that bounce. This is just solid. It's like hitting your skin with a solid surface. This would be great for, you know what this would be really good for? Something like body painting or something like that, where the formula of a product is water activated and it will dry down, you know what I mean? And be resistant to whatever, and it will dry down. Like a face paint, like a body color. But for liquid foundation, but you want to like last in your skin and, you know, look as natural as possible, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not like that. Even I keep looking in the mirror and I keep seeing unevenness, like around, can you see it on camera here, around the arch of my nose here. It's the main claim for me that it mimics a finger application for a natural skin like finish, streak free. Whereas again, the finger application, well, first of all, it's not as, you know, skinny as a finger. Skinnies are good to get right, fingers are good to get right up in there, right in here. It is not the, and I'll say it again, it is not the fingerprints that make the application using your fingers good. It's heat, it's body temperature. It's not because there's a fingerprint. This is more like, you know, in the 90s where they'll swirl your ceilings? This is more like that. So I'm going to give that out of 10, 10 being really terrible, 1 being really good. No, other way around. 1 being really bad, 10 being really good. I'm going to give it a 3 because this side is fine. It's like a sponge. I do wonder how it would act if you soaked it, but then obviously this isn't going to expand. And I'm taking away points because it's just a lie. And I can see this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to see how easy this can break. Not very easy. This is pretty sturdy. I'm trying to rip it off and it's yeah, quite sturdy actually. It's leaving a bit of fingerprint in there. It just reminds me of, you know, when you sit down on like you know, like an old McDonald's chair in the 90s, and it's like that plastic with the foam over. It's very much that texture. It is not good. You know who I'll say this might be good for? Might be. If you wear a lot of liquid foundation and then you just pack on powder over the whole face. I know it's not something I would usually recommend, but people do follow me who disagree with me too. We don't have to agree on everything, right? Then it might be good for you because you're not worrying so much about the texture of your foundation. But look, even around my nose, what's going on here? Yeah, not impressed. I'm definitely going to go around this with a brush and buff it in properly because I do have to film another video. So, let me know your opinions down below. Are you convinced to use this sponge? Listen, you don't have to agree with me. If you like the look of it, if you have it and you love it, let me know. Do consider subscribing. Thanks again, and I will see you very soon.